All right. Welcome into Toilets to Titles. This is episode number, I believe this is number 164.
Wow.
Which is pretty incredible. Put that on the list of things that I didn't expect to happen, as well as ending up in Mobile, Alabama with these fine gentlemen scouting the 2023
and Nino.
The 2023 Reese's Senior Bowl. And here we are. So we got a lot of content we're going to be bringing to you over the next week, after this week, NFL draft related, scouting process, scouting prospects, all that good stuff. So tonight's show is mostly just going to be us discussing, having fun, what we saw, what kind of led up to the Senior Bowl, what led up to us all linking up, preparing to go to the Senior Bowl, and what we're looking forward to doing, and all that good stuff. So let me introduce everybody. I'm going to introduce, we got George right here. Everybody knows George Reed.
What's up?
We got Justin. We got Moon. Y'all know Moon. Moon's been on a few mock drafts with us from CFB Nation. KT from CFB Nation. We got Mike from CFB Nation over there. He's outside right now. He's plotting and scheming over there.
Come on in.
And then we got Jarod and Nino back here. P2P, T2T.
There's Mike. There's Mike.
There's Mike.
There's the man.
So the gang is all here, and today was a blast. I came in late. I got in here, want to say like 2 o'clock. Justin picked me up. It was phenomenal. We drove back together. We had a really intimate conversation. It was very nice. And then we got right to the field. I got my credentials. We went to like the last 30 minutes. And the guys were like, hey, George was like, hey, don't come. He didn't want me around. He thought I was going to kill the vibe. And George said, don't come. There's only 30 minutes left. And I'm like, thanks. You're really excited to see me. Don't come. And then I say to Justin, I'm like, man, I coached. Like, I'm not saying that the Reese's Senior Bowl, how that's being coached, is a lot like how practices I coached that were being coached. But I assume the last 30 minutes is scrimmaging. Because that's usually how it goes. And that's what I want to see. And, man, walking in to this setting, coming from starting this thing like 3 years ago, and then prior to this, doing my own thing, trying to start something that went nowhere, and like just being around and interacting with all sorts of different people from the industry, trying to grow a following, trying to build some friendship, and now having this, arriving, then meeting these guys in person, like everyone that I've been talking to for the past few months, like years, even, plotting and scheming to be successful here and be successful like on YouTube, on Podbean, on Apple Podcasts, like be successful, and success is defined in a way that you're enjoying our content. Ultimately, like that's success. And here we are putting ourselves in a position to deliver content that ultimately I think is easily enjoyable. Like this is the Senior Bowl. Like this is the best part for me. Like you've heard me say it multiple times, and this is a little long-winded. So after this, I'm going to wrap it, and we'll talk about a few things. But I love the off season, because the in-season rips me apart. It rips me apart. I'm competitive. I love my team. Like I lose friends during the season. I lose friends during the season, Jarod. It happens.
They weren't friends then.
Yeah, like
Fair weather.
I get no. It's me choosing. Like
They're like,
get out of here.
I don't want to talk.
Yeah,
I'm
like
setting my vibe.
yeah, and it's me. And I love the off season. And here we are, and I know the Super Bowl is coming up, but none of us have teams in the Super Bowl, so it's the offseason for us. And I've dubbed it the season of optimism, right? So this is the offseason. It's butterflies and rainbows in the offseason, because we don't have to deal with the brutal realities of like injuries and players not succeeding and stuff like that. So, Justin, what are your overall thoughts about being on here? And then we'll pass it around. We'll just talk about what we've seen at the Senior Bowl today and what it was like before I got here.
So my overall thoughts about being here, we kind of touched on it at the T2T dinner tonight. But so like I know George, I've known him for a while now. I know Nino, I know John, I know Jarod. Just getting to know the team here from CFB Nation and from Real One Productions. But the guys from T2T in particular, like I've known them. I know when they get excited. I see their faces. I know when they're happy. These guys are absolutely happy to be here. They're thrilled to be here. And it makes me super, super proud that we're able to come together and have this kind of an event together, like as a family. I mean, we've got our dysfunctional cousins that are all that are part of the T2T family, but they're
literally Joe knows is literally
he really is.
Joe knows is literally my cousin. Yeah.
So we love all of our dysfunctional cousins that are at home watching, but But I'm happy for these guys that they all get to come here and enjoy themselves. We get to see the smiles on their faces. No, I mean, nobody's at each other's throats, and we're making moves even while we're here. Like, we're making plans, we're building it, we're building a great thing, and everybody's on the same page. It's absolutely incredible. You don't see this with a business. So, to be able to say that we're moving forward all together, and we get to see it right here in action, in person. It's not just we're just messaging from hundreds of miles away. So,
Yeah.
So that's what I love getting out of this, because I'm not a college football guy. I feel like I've done what I can to help, but
that's how we linked up. We linked up by you needing advice for dynasty leagues, scouting college prospects, and you know,
and I still haven't learned shit from this guy.
That's the first one. That's the first S word.
Oh, my bad.
We're good.
He's the boss, so he can get away with it, right?
Yeah, that's it. Well, hey, this back row here, Ed Moon, this is like I'm a college football fan, but this back here, like, these are the
sickos.
Yeah, they're the sickos, right? It's CFB Nation. This is P2P, and obviously we started on the clock, which is OTC with us three here, but that's just NFL draft. So now they're only half college. So they're like, you have, you know, I know how you feel about college football, so they're half out the door for you. So they're all news to you, but they're new to me. So we meet there, you know what I mean? But why don't you all talk about what it was like getting here, building up to this process, and what you're looking forward to?
First day first, getting here, we go to the convention center to get our credentials. First person we see is the big homie, Boomer. We dubbed him the big homie.
Hey, the big homie.
He told us act like we've
like
been here
5'10",
before.
but I'm a big homie.
He's a big homie. He told us
See
act
his
like we've
truck.
been here before. We walked around, got to see all types of stuff downstairs, like the different places that the organizations get to talk to the players and stuff like that. It's been a blast, man. The weather, like, I know you're from New York. I know you're from up top.
You know the deal.
So just being down here, I got a tan and everything. Even getting to know more about Justin and George. I know George. Listen, if your hand size is under 10, it's not
No
happening.
good. You ain't even know. If your hands aren't 10 inches, you ain't an NFL player. I'm sorry, you're just not. I don't want to hear nothing about Joe Burrow. Shut up, Boomer. He's not an NFL player.
Or Drew Brees, Hall of Famer.
What about KT? Like, what about CFB Nation? What about your process to develop CFB Nation? And ultimately, like, what the big things, the big things for college football, you know, the culmination, like college football season, it comes and goes, and the scouting process is huge, and bringing in recruits is huge, and, you know, the NILs now is huge, but also, like, the celebration portion of it is the draft, and everyone else's views, ultimately, whether or not they line up with our views. And then that's always not the end all be all, because you could stick with it and trust your process. And then you get to see if you were right or if somebody else was right. And you stick with it. So being here is a celebration and a culmination of work and effort that ultimately starts over again. And I mean, it's the recruiting process and all, like, it's a big just circle. But CFB Nation, like, where did you start? How did you end up, you know, down this road? And now how does it feel to ultimately get here? And where do you see, you know, this going?
Man, you about to have me holding back the tears. So we started on a show called CFB Kickoff. It was myself, Moon, and a couple other people I won't mention. And we were doing that show.
We all have a few of those.
Yeah, we were doing a show, but during the week in preparation for that show, it's really the same two, you know, masterminds putting everything together. So August 23rd, I decided to do my own show. I put it out August 24th. I think I met Nino mid-October, and it just works. He's crazy on the number side. I'm crazy on the production side. You blend that together, and it's magic. Being here, Coach, I think you kind of forced Nino and I to keep one foot in, because this is it for us. You know, because we ready
Reset after this. Yeah, we hit the reset button.
Reset. We already talking about with spring games. We're going to 10, that type of information. So we're having a blast. So that's how I started, August 24th, and now we're here. It's crazy. It happened kind of fast.
So maybe I forced it, but you are prepared. Like
Animal.
Like
he said, stay ready.
Like you with your, like,
It's a
You're
wizard.
doing a really good job of faking it if you were forced to be here. You like your setup. I didn't see anybody else with that setup on the field today. So that, speaking of which, we're gonna have content. CFB Nation's gonna have content. Twist Title's gonna have content. Like, all brought to you by Real Ones Productions. So check out the Twitter handles. You know, we're at Toilets to Titles. I believe yours is at CFB Nation on the Twitter. If I'm correct. At the CFB Nation on the Twitter. So check that out, and we're going to be posting clips. It's just getting started. All right, but Jarod and Nino, I let you'll sit back there long enough and ruminate on what you're going to discuss, man. So let us know how it feels since y'all linked up.
Bro,
You're meeting in person. Now we're out here.
10 months ago, I was sitting on a couch asking you to get on a mock draft. All right.
Yeah.
And then we did one show, and we just had a conversation, and one thing led to another. Like, you'd be interested in doing something like this, and never did I ever think I'd get an opportunity to do anything like this. I was just following people for advice. 10 months later, I'm here. 6 months into it, I met this gentleman. He set me up with this gentleman, right? 3 months into this gentleman, set me up with this gentleman. And you ain't stopping any of us in college football. You better off just staying at home, because we're coming for your throat.
Right. I believe it.
I was actually here when I got to see these two meet each other for the first time. I swear to you, it was like long lost brothers, man. It was awesome.
It's true.
Absolutely amazing.
It's 100% true.
And what you're seeing and hearing right now, and Jarod, I'm sorry,
You're good. You talk, I'll give my time.
My
what you're seeing right here is, like, this isn't the content aspect. Like, this is the behind the content. Like, yes, you know, this is a hobby, but we're passionate, and we're this isn't just a hobby. So, like, there's part of us that, like, man, that hobby portion of us, like, we really enjoy this, but then also we're driven.
Yeah.
And when we're doing this, like, we're trying to be great at this. And it's evident. And when you link this up, you know, it's a great connection, and it's great to be surrounded by like-minded individuals. And it's been a blessing, you know, to have that happen. So Jarod, go ahead, man.
Well, for me, obviously, like, I didn't meet Moon or anybody until we came here. And that was the biggest funny thing to me, because it feels like they're family to me. I mean, everybody just gets along great. Obviously, I started doing IDP because it was a niche thing that someone's like, hey, you're just really good about talking, you know, football in this aspect. And yes, I love IDP. I'm really kind of a nerd about the defensive side of football. I don't play fantasy football unless there's an IDP aspect to it. Unless it's fun aspect at Frankenstein, because it's hilarious and you can absolutely just go bonkers in it, which is why I love Frankenstein.
And they'll eventually will be.
You hear that? I got it on recording, so we're good.
Listen, I couldn't. It's an onion. It's an onion, and onions have layers. And with how much we add every year,
we can start small.
I can't, you know, like
1 DB, 2 linebackers, and a defensive lineman.
That's not small. It's full.
That's. But so you have to.
You can do one low, one high.
You have to be willing to help with the running of the Frankenstein. We're good. No deal. All right, go ahead.
But in that aspect, right? Obviously, like, me and Nino, legit a brother from another mother. He does look like Don Barrett. So there's that. I mean, you see it, but when you in person, you're like, man, if you were taller, you'd be an actor.
I was always Team Shane.
It's
you know what I'm talking about. Walking, I was always Team Shane. I thought Rick did him
Walking
dirty.
Dead. Yeah, I got you.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, I was talking to Coach when I first came back. We did a mock draft, and he's like, hey, you know, I don't know, I brought this up before, but how about you just, like, join the team? You've been, you know, out for a little bit. I've been retired. I'm retired military. And I was like, man, this dude's going to make me itch. All right, we'll start small. Why didn't you really start small?
No.
We were like,
you got
we
to up with me.
We did
small,
we did one small video with Nino, and I was like, hey, what do you think I'll be doing a college show, me and Nino? And he's like, I mean, I was going to bring it up anyway, but I think you should do this. And then he's like, hey, what about an IDP guy? You know, I know you want to do this. I think it'd be smart for the thing. I was like, yeah, you know, we have a guy I can bring in, but I think we should bring Nino in too. So Nino has like 6 shows, and we just run him ragged. But
It works.
It works.
you know what?
It works.
Hey,
It
the
works.
background. If you all saw the conversations I have with this man, I can't reel him in. Do I? Am I grateful that he's willing to do all these things? Hell yeah. But it's like one thing leads up to another, and it's like
Gotta throttle him back.
gotta let it fly.
Yeah,
Dude,
we've tried.
The
We've
dude-
tried.
The dude's gotta let it fly.
My wife can't do it.
Get you an idea. If we get here, right?
Yeah.
First thing I do, give him a hug, this and that. I'm like, "You ready to go?" He's like, "Man, I have 4 chicken nuggets and a Red Bull. I'm good to go."
For the whole trip here. That's
That-
what he
21
meant.
hours.
It's a 21-hour
that
drive from
needs
New York.
that needs to go in your Twitter bio.
20, the 2 Red Bulls and
4 chicken nuggets and
I'm ready to go.
That's a quote. Moon, you're over here, man. We want to hear like, man,
Vibes, baby.
we've had you on for mock drafts, and your analysis. You know, we know you like Clemson. I know you like those. You've drafted a lot of Clemson ball players, man. But your analysis is spot on. Your approach to it is spot on. So, what was it like linking up with KT and Mike and planning to come down to the Senior Bowl?
Oh man, it was beautiful. We found out that we were coming down here the same day that y'all found out on that Sunday. I still remember it. It was Sunday. It was the last week of the regular season, and yeah, when we got the news, it just hit different. Like I called KT like immediately. We freaked out on the phone together
Talk to my son about
for a minute.
Talk to my
Like, yo,
son
this
about
is-
it. Talk to my kid.
Yes.
My son at the point like, KT, CFB, he's on the phone, daddy.
Yeah, those are like priceless moments, but that's what happened. And then we started just connecting and planning things out. We found out that y'all were going to. Everybody got their credentials. Well, everybody got their notifications that we were coming down here at the same time. So it worked out in that way. And then meeting Mikey and KT was beautiful, like long lost brothers. I talked to them before. It's like a family reunion, like type of vibes. And then coming to meet y'all at the vault, like
That's like, and they don't at home. They
have
don't.
no
They
idea.
have no idea what. So the house we're staying at is a bank. It's an Airbnb. It's a bank.
An actual bank.
And
Like,
it's
literally,
deep
it
right
was
there.
a
It
bank.
has a theme. I've stayed in Airbnbs before. I've never stayed in one with a theme. Like there's vaults and there's pictures all over of famous bank robbers, and like whoever designed this bank or opened this bank would have never anticipated that when your bank goes out of business, buddy, not only is your bank going to go out of business, but we're going to honor people
The
who
robbed it.
disrespect you.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
love it.
like we're gonna just completely flip the switch on you and just honor the anti-bankers.
So what is also really cool about what we're staying at is it's also an escape room as well. There's clues to each one of the safes, and if you open up one safe, you get a clue that goes to a different safe. If you open up that safe, we think you get to open up the really big safe, and we don't know what's in the really big safe.
I got the first one unlocked. I'm gonna get the second one after the show,
Right.
but and John and I have an incredible business idea. I'm gonna have to run this by
Oh,
the
man.
wife later, but
Yeah, well, let's not. I don't know. Should we?
yeah. Oh,
She's
yeah.
watching.
Oh no, we can't give away the secrets.
Yeah.
I would
But
say
anyway.
she's watching, so just go ahead and
Nah, anyhow,
you're running
so-
running it by her right now. Just
last
go
thing
for
I
it.
want to say, because I know Silent Mike isn't going to talk, so I'm going to take Silent Mike's time real quick, and I just want to mention one last thing to everybody. Like, we were going back just now and talking about how all this started for all of us before, but I just want to let you all know, like, we're still just starting.
Oh, yeah.
This is still the
Yes.
beginning.
Yeah.
Several years from now, we're going to have another show where we're going to be talking about
This
being the
Yeah,
start,
yeah.
right? Because
Can we
this
do
is
it here
this is
at
a
the
whole
vault?
new start.
Oh man.
Back at the vault.
Back at the
Back at the vault.
Hey, we circle back
To the vault.
We get
And
back
all-
to what
all-
I said about the vault, but you said it. It's like different clues, different things piecing together, and that's essentially how it feels. Like, I know with me and KT, we essentially look at each other like cheat codes. Like we know this, we understand this. Like we see it, we do it. He makes something. I like, how did you do that? Like, and then I'll take inspiration from that and then create something else. And then he'll see something that I do and be like, how'd you do that? And then take inspiration from that. And it's like constantly feeding off of each other, similar to a vault where you put into different codes, you put your minds together, and then you open up one door that opens up a whole nother door, which opens up a whole nother door. I didn't know that when we started Real Ones Productions that we'll be sitting at the 2023 Reese Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
But that's one door opening to another door.
You met on the field when we were interviewing Steve Rice,
Yeah.
right? And Tank Dell,
Yeah.
right?
And
We're
how-
talking to Jim Nagy.
How crazy is it that we're 20 minutes in and we haven't even mentioned like what we've done here?
Right.
I got here
In one day.
30
not even the
minutes
whole
after
trip.
I got
In
here.
one day.
The end of their day. I got here for the end of their day. The end of their day included interviewing Tank Dell, Jonathan Mingo, Rasheed Rice, and shaking hands with who'd you shake hands with?
Del Rio.
Jack Del Rio.
And we interviewed Evan Hall.
Like,
Evan Hall earlier.
And subtly
Yeah.
shaking hands with Jack Del Rio. It wasn't like, hey, I'm standoffish. I just got to be here. No, I'm here because I want to be here. Oh, what's up? Shake your hand. Like it was like we were all on the same level, which Jack Del Rio.
Yeah,
But you know what I mean? Like it was just very bizarre. Like coming off of like I was up at 4 a.m.
So was Nino.
flying down here.
I was doing
Yeah.
docs at 4 a.m., my man.
Flying down here, connecting flights, like just and then getting here and boom, like that hit me in the face. So the content today was legitimate. And again, follow the Twitter handles. We'll put this all in here. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/toilets to titles. We got 5 tiers. You can get in the group chat. That's the lowest level. You can get in the Frankenstein League, which everybody here, KT, Moon, Mikey. Wait till you hear about the Frankenstein. I don't know how into fantasy you are, but the stream of consciousness that
Moon
combined.
ears picked up a little bit.
He was-
Yeah.
He was like,
I want to hear about this.
You like, all right, if you're listening at home, it's likely you know about it. So I'll introduce them to it. I'll send them an episode where they can listen to it, or we'll just BS about it off air. Because if you're listening at home and you've been following the show from day one, it's gonna morph again. Like it morphs every year. We add teams every year. Like we added playable cards to a fantasy league this year, and we designed the playable cards, and we made what each playable card does, and it completely it worked. Like it was a success. Like
gutted my team.
Dude,
It worked.
It gutted my
but
team.
it wasn't like it fit.
No,
Like,
I get it.
you know what I
When
mean?
Kenneth
Like,
Walker,
it
I pick
wasn't
pick
like,
one,
what is
and then he
this?
goes
Like,
off,
is
and
this
I
some
lose,
sort of-
and Dirty Jobs goes,
And
oh,
now
my
you-
team.
And now you know
Yeah.
to take a
And then
most
and
part.
then and then
One
Jared,
I took a card.
we got the
Never used
Dracula
it.
card, and Jared's like, hey, this Dracula card, and we got a card, for example, that takes what you do when you play this card is you could take it's Dracula. So what does he do? He sucks blood. You could take 20% of the points
Needs
from.
to be much
So
more.
say it's we adjusted it. It's gonna happen. But say your opponent is Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson scored 20 points, and you got Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek Hill scored 18 points. You could play that card and take 5 points from Justin Jefferson and give it to Tyreek Hill. So now you got 23 and he's got 15. But now he has a point. Dracula's stronger than that. That barely
Look
affects
at
the
me.
game.
Look at me. He
So
loved
yeah,
it. He loved it.
but you can only play it once.
It was 140
Tell
points.
them about the blob.
The blob.
Tell them about the blob. That's
Seven-
the most second most powerful
17.
card. in
You
the
tell
entire
him.
game.
You tell him about the blob.
All right, so the blob. This is a card. It literally steals a player from your team, whether you win or lose.
Oh, well, they don't even know that. So when you win in Frankenstein, you could take a player from your opponent.
Yep.
Yeah, and
But
you have to give them back.
one of the starters. So,
Yeah.
like, let's say if I was stealing one of Moon's running backs, I'd have to give him one of my starters.
It could be somebody who's hurt.
I gave
So it levels the foundation
I
of
give
where
it to
I'm leaving
because I
you
beat
with.
some.
So
They
say
call me
say
some-
I
No,
have
man.
so say I know I'm going to beat you, and you have Christian McCaffrey. I could bench, and I could put a bum in, and give you that bum for Christian McCaffrey, and people get upset.
And if I had the blob card, I could steal Christian McCaffrey and another player.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about me stealing another player.
If you won, you say.
If I
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so this is
So
and
it's
then-
like a vampire league, but it's a vampire league on crack that is a monster league.
And then-
It's been going for 4 years.
and then every
It's
every
crazy.
year,
It's crazy.
It's a crazy league.
every
It's-
year,
It's
Damn.
super strategic.
every year we have a brainstorming session where the guys try to reel me in, and they give me like last
Never
year.
works.
Last year, you want the
I think it
cards.
really works actually.
The
Reeling him in.
the cards
doesn't-
started last year because I wanted to. I was set. I went into the meeting. I was like, this is what I need to happen this year. If a wide receiver or a running back throws a passing touchdown, I want it to be such a dominant thing that not only does he get points this week, he gets points next week.
And next thing you know, we
wanted-
have 12 monster cards.
Yeah,
How is
and
that
then
reeling
they were
you
like,
in?
well, why don't we do this? So, but this isn't a Frankenstein episode. That's just something that we all have to look forward to. Something that is kind of, I guess, a part of our process and where we've come from and what we're going to continue to build. But as far as the next few days, right, what we're doing while we're here, we're going to go back in the other direction where we ended. So, Moon, what are you most looking forward to the rest of the week? Like, what do you need to get done here? What are you going to, when you leave? What are you going to say like that, man? I'm so glad I did that. Not to put you on the spot.
Being here is a blessing, but this is the season of takeover. So I won't be satisfied until we leave on Saturday. And I have this gut feeling in my stomach that not only did we show up, show out, but we left our mark at the Reese Senior Bowl for 2023. That's where I'll feel confident. And being able to do it with my brothers is even better. So that's what my mark is. As far as like the specifics of it, interviewing these players, getting this content to y'all, feeding the streets, CFB Nation, putting out like high quality content for y'all to like just keep pushing the boundaries and pushing barriers of what we thought we were going to do. Like we interviewed Evan Hall today, like Northwestern running back. I didn't think that was going to happen. It just did. So it's like, what else can happen today on day 2?
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. So
We got the breakfast tomorrow. Yeah.
And so many possibilities at that. So just keeping our minds open to the possibilities. I'm interested in meeting new people, meeting the players more, talking to the coaches, being on the field more, because that was amazing.
Jarod knows about that.
Yeah, he was there all day. But yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Have the sunburn bourbon.
Jared, what about you, man? What are you looking forward to the rest of the week?
Well, bring it back. You said the year of the takeover, 23. Jordan's the GOAT.
We go. And
the fact of the matter is,
but hold on, say it again.
Where the
Jordan's
Jordan's going
the
with this?
Oh,
man?
I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
But what I'm saying is he's the closest player of all time, in my opinion. For us to grow and be better, we have to get better every day. And I really think that we have shown that just today, how we're willing to push ourselves more than we expected. I don't think either one of us slept 3 hours in the last 2 days. So
Sleep, I'm dead.
And I just have really enjoyed not only just getting to know everybody, but each one of us is pushing each other to get better and to really, I mean, let's be real. Justin didn't even, isn't a college football fan, and that dude has notes for days right now. So
he came up and said, "Yo, what do you think?"
Hey, there's this and this. How do you feel about this? And that's what I want to see out of all of us, and that's what I got to see today. And it's just Tuesday. So,
You said Jordan's the GOAT, year 23. So I mean, tomorrow we're coming back wearing the 4-5, right? It just fitting, right?
It's on day 3.
Yeah, that's just what we got to do. We're coming with the flu game. We're not stopping. Like we were just discussing. We're gonna pick a guy. We're gonna target at breakfast, and that's what we're going for. The content that we're putting out, it's right now. It ain't out there because we got it all filed in, but we're gonna flood you. You're gonna be blown away. It ain't gonna stop. We're just gonna keep growing. The merger has begun. And whether you know it or not, the merger has begun. And this right here, if you don't like what you see, you might want to tune it off because we ain't going anywhere.
But don't turn it off.
We here to stay.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. KT, how about you?
I think I second everything each and every one of them said. The one thing I guess I didn't expect to get, more than I was able to get it from the RFL, but getting to know the players behind the helmets, behind the mask. We talked to Evan Hall today, and it hit home because I have a close relationship, God bless the day, with my grandmother. And before the interview, he had asked, he's like, "Yo, how do I look?" I don't want my grandmother sitting there saying like, "Yo, you look crazy." And so, Mike was able to pull up a phone for him, so he covered his hair up. You know what I'm saying? He put his do-rag on and tied it up nicely. But that was something that just hit home. So continuing this week, getting to know the people behind the mask or the people behind the coaches, GMs, whoever, just being able to get to know more people and you guys, of course.
Yeah. Hey, man, how about you, George?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. Come back to me.
Come back to you. All
Can
right.
I say
all
something
right.
about Georgie real quick?
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately, Dino couldn't make the trip, right? And Dino had some players. that he
Dino's
had-
here right now. He's in the
Yeah,
chat.
What's up, homie?
shout out to
What's
homie.
good, homie?
There it is.
That's why I held that up.
And he just asked if that was the 4th Red Bull. today.
Yes, at 5. I had a bang. My man Dino, he coming back soon, but he had a couple players that he was going to look at, and I spoke to George and Justin last night, and they asked me, "What can I do to help?" I said, "I give you a couple guys, and all you gotta do is just watch them. And you can give me a couple lines and notes on it." Georgie went out there like he'd been doing this forever. He had his phone. He was recording people. He said, "Yo, I got this guy. I'm gonna bring him to you. What do you think about this guy? He's been doing it." Like, they never did this before, and it just stepped up like it was, second nature. That's a family. That's a team. It's hard to break.
And what's impressive too about that is it's not like they're coming from a place of no strength. Like George is what he does, the charity work George does, and the networking George does, and the work with the blitz that George does. Like, and now he's going to be taking on Between Two Urinals, which we're going to discuss, which is a silly name, but that's going to be our.
Cross the
It
swords.
works. It's going to be.
It's our brand.
That was a preview last night. You weren't here for it.
All right, so
But
that.
me and Nino previewed that last night.
Oh, yeah, Lamar Jackson, baby.
So we're working on that. So that's going to be like tune in like in about a month. We're going to be having like 15-minute episodes, 10 to 15-minute episodes where it's just debating. And I feel like that's good content and two sides of every story, and you're going to be able to hear it. But George, he's coming in from a place where he has strength, but not only he's willing to. So that just shows the willingness to not just be stubborn. Hey, I do this. I'm going to stick with this. Like it's a team and a family. Like
You got the pick of the
yeah,
day.
you step up. You step up and you help out when you can. And I mean then Justin and George running around grabbing people at the end of the day to come in and do interviews. Like I was watching Rasheed Rice on the plane just to catch up. I was
Stand on the side.
I was watching on the plane, just touching up on my notes. Like I was watching all the Senior Bowl receivers on the plane when I was coming down here. And then like you guys pulled him like he wants to do an interview with us. And
You said to me, "What do you need me to do?" What I tell you?
yeah.
It's just they didn't look pretty.
Yeah,
We got
yeah.
you. We got you.
Tomorrow I'm gonna do a little bit more than that.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow I'm gonna get in on those interviews.
That's- You just arrived. You were
Yeah.
just getting your feet wet.
I
I don't want
was
you to
a
get
little
flustered.
yeah, I was a little flustered. So I was like, whoa, like sensory overload. But Justin, how about you, man? Before we wrap this up, what are you looking forward to?
I just want to keep seeing all this. I want to see everybody being happy. I want to see everybody getting along. I want to see this group of these two teams coming together to make one powerhouse team. And I don't care all the good stuff you want to say about George. He's still one of those dysfunctional cousins that we just love.
We keep it rise. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick. I know he popped in on the screen. Mikey, a legend.
Oh yeah,
Mike,
Mikey is a
man.
legend. All right.
Hey, bravo.
Kudos to Mikey. Between
Amazing
just
work.
killing it,
Amazing.
finding the open lane.
You gotta-
He gave us one of these. Yo, we good.
Well, tell us.
Hey, you gotta
them.
keep an eye on Mike because
I
one
can't give
minute
away the
he's
secrets
standing
because we
right
get in
next to
trouble. All right, my man got the golden ticket. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
He says I found a spot.
Hey.
Come get me.
Right.
Mike, man, you need to keep an eye on him. Because he ain't saying nothing.
No, he don't. He the quiet assassin. He the
Hey,
quiet
hey,
assassin.
Silent
And
money.
then-
At least he's on our team.
That's all I'm
And then
saying.
he's like right next to you. And then you look this way and you look back and Mike's gone.
When he's gone,
But then he
he's
calls
going
you.
for gold.
And
He's
then he
going for
calls
gold.
Hey, this is where I'm at.
Yeah. I
I'm
got this
standing
guy,
next to
this
this guy,
guy,
and this guy, this guy. Oh, and if you want to get down here, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
We get 30 seconds later, he was on the other side of the field and was like, wasn't he right there?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking like the other side of the field,
The whole.
the entire stadium.
One end zone to the
We're
end of
over
the other.
Yeah.
I see him like this. He's just like,
You
like,
never
I'll be
see
there, homie.
I've never seen Mikey and Batman in the same room.
Never,
Or the
never.
Flash.
Facts.
Yeah.
He wears a couple of different hats,
I
right?
don't know. Like like you turn, he's gone. But
That man is cold, bro.
Yeah,
Y'all
ice
do not
cold.
understand, bro. I will hype Mikey all until I die. Mikey is cold. I'll look you dead in the camera. Mikey is cold, bro. He walked into our room, in our hotel room, and was like, dang, I got 400 plus pictures. I was like, you got what? In one day? How? How? He is cold.
Excellent.
He sleeps with
Excellent.
that thing in his
Right,
hand.
we got P2P coming up. We got some more content that's actually going to be, data driven. It's going to be discussing prospects that we watched today. So I don't want to keep you too much longer. What I'm looking forward to, I guess, obviously this is excellent being down here, and I mean we're all taken away from our lives like to come down here and do this, and obviously it's for fun, but it's also for we're building something. That's the big thing. We're putting this is also work. We came here with that mindset. So I'm just looking forward to, at the end of the day, looking back on the content we released and being able to look at it and say, you know what, if I wasn't here, this is what I'd be looking at. Because I know the past 4 or 5 years, when I'm in the office during Senior Bowl season, I'm constantly hitting refresh on my Twitter feed. Me personally, what I like to watch, I like to get constant updates of who's balling out.
Mhm.
And then I like to take little notes. Like this is the background of how I started. Oh, that name keeps popping up. I've never heard that name before. I'm going to put that in my pocket. That name keeps popping up. I'm going to watch him. So I'm hoping that there's somebody out there, or hopefully more than just somebody, like multiple somebodies out there who are enjoying this content. And this is something that you're not here, but you feel like you're here because we're here and we're putting this out here for you.
Real
So
quick,
that,
coach.
yeah, go ahead.
Shout out Brian Bosage.
Yeah.
Draft countdown.
Yeah.
He the cheat code.
Yeah.
As much as I'm giving you.
Yeah.
Okay. He's the cheat code.
Yeah, good. We had an excellent dinner. So, all right, for T2T, for Real Ones Productions, for CFB Nation, this is it. You're going to be, I know we're going on the clock Thursday night. I know P2P is coming up right after this. So we got a lot of content. Stay tuned and follow us all on Twitter. I'll put it all in the show notes so you can find it there. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Again, it's Toilets and Titles on the Patreon, patreon.com/Toilets and Titles to support the show so we can do more things like this. And stay tuned because we got a lot of good content coming out. All right. We'll catch you all later on. Take care.